Visualization. Okay, it's time to get more technical. What happens in your brain when you are motivated toward your major goals and when you aren't? The reason that our motivation is flexible is that our brain and body don't know the difference between what is happening in the real world and what is happening inside our mind's eye. In other words, we can use visualization in order to tell our body that there is a threat or a great reward to work toward, and if we are good enough at this, it can become so real that it triggers a huge flood of hormones. So, how then can you use visualization in order to work toward your goals? The first tip is to make sure that the thing you're working towards is something that you feel extremely passionate about. This is perhaps the most important way to stay motivated and disciplined, to have an end goal that you truly care about. One that you get excited thinking about. This is something that Arnie always said, that he was happy to go through rep after rep of grueling work in the gym. You need a goal like that in order to stay motivated. What if you don't know your life purpose or your end goal? That's fine. You don't need to be changing the world here. Even working toward a short-term, immediate goal will have similar benefits. Just make sure that there is always something you are working on and toward. You need to make sure that this goal you are working toward is something that speaks to you emotionally. That means it should be something that you feel will help you become actualized, but at the same time it should also be something that will help you build respect, that will help you to support your family. In other words, the more of your needs the ambition and the goal meets, the greater your chances of success. What if the thing you're working on doesn't have any emotional payoff for you? What if you need to focus on a project given to you by your dense manager? Notice how this is the kind of work you really struggle with. The answer is, A. Think about the reason you need to do this work. In this case, focus on what career success might mean for you. B. Try to make the work you're doing more inherently engaging. If you're writing a dull article about something you don't care about, try and find what is exciting about that topic. Or challenge yourself to write the very best article with the best structure and the best grammar possible. This will help your work to truly come alive. Focus on the fear. Humans are naturally risk-averse. Again, this is an evolutionary hangover that once made a lot of sense in terms of our survival. We couldn't afford to take big risks with our safety or our resources, and so we would cling to things we needed. This was effective back then, but today it has the effect of making us somewhat static and unchanging. We are happy to stick with the status quo because at least it is safe and predictable. One answer then is to focus more on the stick as well as the carrot. In the case of completing dull work, try to think about what will happen if you are late handing in your work again. Think about the awkward conversation, and the stress it will cause regarding your job satisfaction. A small amount of stress, called eustress, is a positive thing. Too much is bad for motivation, but this is something we'll address in an upcoming chapter. Another thing to consider is the threat of not progressing. What happens if you don't work on your physique? Simple, you stay out of shape forever, and get progressively worse. You never fix your self-esteem, and you create more and more health problems that make it even harder to turn things around. What happens if you never start applying for other jobs, or negotiate higher pay? You potentially remain stuck in a dead-end job for the rest of your life. Or at least miss out on huge amounts of money that could make you and your family much happier. Those are some pretty compelling sticks. In the latter example, the hope is that the threat of being stuck in the same position forever is enough of an emotional motivation, a tangible enough vision, to override the slightly awkward thought of having to talk about salary with your boss, clients,